Some guys have it all. Charming, philanthropic, a leader, athletically gifted beyond belief. Your typical All-American quarterback. Checks all the boxes. Off the field temptations, scandals. Nah, not a problem with this guy. He's too locked in, chasing greatness, more glory. The last person we have to worry about is him. Deshaun Watson was a top recruit at quarterback from Gainesville, Georgia, on his way to Clemson University. He received some time during the 2014 season as a true freshman, but ended up tearing his ACL just before their bowl game against Oklahoma. Fully healthy from injury, the 2015 season was a magical one for Deshaun Watson and the Clemson Tigers. They went undefeated, 12-0. They earned the #1 seed in the college football playoffs. They dismissed Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl 36-17, and they would face the dreaded Alabama Crimson Tide in the national championship game. I watched this game, and it was honestly one of the greatest individual efforts I have ever seen on a football field. Watson set a national championship game record for the most total yards. But it wasn't enough. Clemson lost 45-40. Watson was a Heisman finalist and the winner of the Davy Bryant Award, an award annually given to the top college quarterback. Clemson was in good hands. They'll be back, right? That would be correct. Clemson went right back to the college football playoff for the 2016 season. He lost out on the Heisman again to the great Lamar Jackson. They had an electric showdown earlier that season. Clemson would go on to destroy Ohio State in the college football playoff semifinal 31-0. Their opponent for the championship? The Alabama Crimson Tide. This time, Watson and company were ready. Deshaun threw for 420 yards and hit on 35 of his 56 passing attempts, including a last-second game-winning touchdown to Hunter Renfrow. The Clemson Tigers were national champions. This marked Clemson's second national title, and it ended a 3-decade drought. Watson was named the game's offensive MVP. He put up some gaudy numbers for his junior season. There was nothing more to see here. It was time to go pro. Watson was projected as a first-round pick and was ranked as the top quarterback in the draft by Sports Illustrated, Pro Football Focus, and ESPN. The first quarterback selected was Mitchell Trubisky, then Patrick Mahomes. Deshaun Watson was still sitting there at pick number 12, and the Texans got their guy. They acquired the 12th pick from the Cleveland Browns. Trading their 25th overall pick and the first-round pick for the 2018 draft was a small price to pay for a franchise quarterback. Deshaun Watson wasted no time showing he was worth the pick. He was named the AFC Offensive Rookie of the Year and the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year for the month of October. But on November 2nd, he tore his ACL again on a non-contact injury in practice. His rookie season was over. Not bad, though. In 2018, the Texans finished 11-5 and were good enough for the AFC wildcard round. Though they lost 21-7 to the Colts, it was looking like Watson was putting it all together. He was named to his first Pro Bowl and overcame some adversity along the way, like a collapsed lung and broken ribs during the season. In 2019, the Texans went 10-6, and this time that was good enough to win the AFC South Division. In the wildcard round against the Buffalo Bills, Watson guided the Texans back from his 16-0 deficit with some late-game magic to win the game 22-19, his first playoff victory. In the AFC divisional round against the Kansas City Chiefs, they were winning 24-0 in the second quarter and blew it. They lost 51-31. Before the 2020 season, the Texans exercised their fifth-year option on Watson's contract. On September 5th, Deshaun signed a 4-year, $177.5 million contract extension with $111 million in guarantees, keeping him under contract until 2025.
You know, growing up from where I'm from, there's not too many people to make it out. And so, for them to...
All was good. Nope, the Texans went 4-12 that year. Deshaun was individually impressive, but the team wasn't. Following the 2020 season, a disgruntled Watson requested a trade. The Texans weren't willing to negotiate a trade since, they just signed him for a new contract. So they were in a standoff until the emergence of sexual harassment allegations. Despite the off-the-field concerns, Watson was still named to the 53-man roster. Even though he was not injured or suspended, the Texans ruled him out every Sunday for the entire 2021 season for non-injury personal reasons. So how bad were the concerns? Very, very bad. On March 16, 2021, a Houston massage therapist filed a civil lawsuit delivered by attorney Tony Busby against Watson, claiming that he took some liberties with her during the massage that she wasn't comfortable with. Watson denied these claims, but later reached out to the massage therapist to apologize for his actions. The next day, it was another civil lawsuit. A few days later, another one, and another one. By April 5th, Deshaun Watson had 22 civil lawsuits filed against him, and they were all similar: sexual harassment with massage therapists. Tony Busby stated that they were hesitant to send the evidence to the Houston Police Department because Watson's lawyer, Rusty Hardin, had a son in the police force. With all this going on, he was dropped by Nike and Beats by Dre. Bad for business. On April 9th, Hardin claimed that some of Watson's massages led to some activity, but it was consensual. The same day, the two judges ruled that 13 of the 22 lawsuits must be refiled within 2 business days or risk dismissal, and on top of that, 4 of the accusers must refile using their current names. Attorneys announced that 9 of the 12 women would reveal their names voluntarily. The judge granted Watson's attorney an emergency motion requiring the release of the other accusers' names. On March 11, 2022, a grand jury declined to indict Watson on criminal charges related to harassment and sexual misconduct. He was still facing the civil lawsuits at the time, but by August 1st, all but one civil case had been settled.
All my close supporters that's been behind me this past year, thank my team that's been behind me and supporting me and keeping me up this past year. And I'm going to continue to just keep pushing forward and build my name back to where it was, if not better. Thank you.
Once the news broke that Deshaun Watson wasn't serving any time for this, that was all the NFL needed. 1 week after the jury declined to indict Watson, he was traded to the Cleveland Browns. Literally a week. It was March 18th. The Browns gave up 3 first-round picks, a third-round pick, and 2 fourth-round picks in exchange for Deshaun Watson and a 6th-round pick. And on top of that, as a part of the trade, Watson signed a brand new, fully guaranteed 5-year, $230 million deal, making it the largest contract with the most guaranteed money in NFL history. What? As a result of the sexual harassment allegations, Watson was suspended 6 regular season games to start the 2022 season by arbiter Sue Lewis Robinson. He was allowed to participate in preseason activities, including preseason games. That seems a bit light. The NFL thought so too, so they filed an appeal on the suspension 2 days later, seeking to extend the suspension to at least a full season, which would be 17 games. They were also seeking a fine and wanted to establish a clause that Watson would have to seek treatment for his conduct. The appeal was reviewed by former New Jersey Attorney General Peter C. Harvey. On August 18, 2022, the NFL and the NFL Players Association reached a settlement, and Watson was suspended 11 games and was fined $5 million. On November 22, 2022, his suspension was up and Watson was reinstated. On week 13, he started against his old friends, the Houston Texans. In his first game in 700 days, Watson was terrible, but they won 27-14. He would go 3-3 as a starter that season, and was okay. His 2023 campaign wasn't much better, and on week 10 against the Baltimore Ravens, Watson suffered a displaced fracture to the glenoid in his right shoulder during the first half, but was able to finish the game. 3 days later, the Browns announced that Watson would undergo season-ending surgery to repair the broken bone in his throwing shoulder. Watson underwent surgery on November 21st and was ready for the 2024 season. His 2024 was off to a terrible start. He looked inept against the Dallas Cowboys week 1. And to make matters much, much worse, on September 9, 2024, Deshaun was sued again for sexual harassment and battery by a new accuser. It feels silly that football is even a part of this story because it was so unimportant in the grand scheme of things. As of right now, I find it nearly impossible to root for Deshaun Watson, the quarterback, and even more so Deshaun Watson, the man. I hope that peace beyond understanding is brought to all the victims involved in this, and it is quite sad to see how the mighty have fallen. If you've watched this far, I just want to say thank you. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend. I'm trying to grow this channel. Make sure you check out my other Fall from Grace videos, and I also have an incredible season series going right now. If you know of an athlete that could qualify for a Fall from Grace video or an incredible seasons video, drop their name in the comments and I'll see what I can do. With that, I'm Jay Chave. Love.